and welcome. We are here at Munich Edelmetallmesse in 2019. My name is Hannes Huster from the Gold Report. And with me today is Sam from SOVEREIGN METALS. So Sam, good to have you here and thanks for the chance to do the interview. A quick one, a quick update for all the readers and all the guys that are interested. So yeah, let's start with the graphite. Graphite is your main project that you developed very far. So how is this going? Last news on the graphite was that you produced a lot of test material and so on. And so how are these things going at the moment?
So as I said, since the completion of the pilot plant 2 or 3 months ago, we've now distributed a number of samples across to 15 plus parties. Big, so tier 1 parties. These are all non-Chinese graphite purchasers. So we've circulated, as I said, probably over 2 tonnes of material across to these number of different parties who are all going through their test and qualification processes. And these discussions and building of these relationships is progressing really well, and we've been very encouraged with the feedback and response we've got from all these customers. Now we're working through with these customers to develop a formal binding sale and off-take arrangement. So it's taking a lot longer, but we're ensuring that these agreements will be able to be used in a financing model and be acceptable by a bank. So we're not rushing it and trying to get a non-binding or something that's not financeable. We're taking a lengthy process to go through that, and as I said, it's working very well and we're progressing well, and we've received some really good feedback from a lot of the customers.
Okay, good. So, and recently, so in the last, I don't know how long was it away, maybe 4 or 5 months or whatever, you discovered a new mineral on your large land package in Malawi. So it was rutile, and tell us first, rutile, what is it? Is it rare, or what's it worth? How is it traded? For what is it used? Maybe because it's not gold or silver. Everybody knows right away what to do with it.
You're right. It was very opportune and extremely fortunate to discover this, and the timing was fantastic. So the discovery of the rutile was on our ground, and rutile is titanium dioxide. Rutile is titanium dioxide in its purest form. It's grading at about 95 titanium dioxide. So titanium dioxide is used in pigments, which essentially is used everywhere in everything you think. It makes white bright. So if you think paints, plastics, coatings, that's all titanium dioxide. So rutile is the purest form of natural titanium dioxide, and it has an in situ grading of about 1%, but then that gets upgraded to 95% through the process. The market for titanium is massive. It's a $15 billion market, so it's well developed and very sort of well structured, with a lot of big players in the world at the moment. So Tronox, Kenmar, are a number of good examples that are out there.
Okay, sounds interesting. And last week you had the first real drill results. Before we had only some samples, and you did a lot of test work to see if it's really that what you need and a product you maybe can sell later on. So this was all very successful, and now you had the first drill results, and you called a new project there Railroad. So give us some background there, please.
So as you said, when we first discovered we had rutile on our ground, we wanted to ensure that we could produce a product. We know that there's some inferior products around that aren't able to get upgraded to that 95%, which is a critical benchmark for rutile. So we went through a lengthy metallurgy process at the beginning, which is quite unique. When you first discover a project, you normally go see if how much you've got of it. We went the reverse and did the chemistry first, and that was a huge outcome which we achieved, and we achieved 96% with no critical other elements within the rutile. Our sizing was perfect for all markets, So it really was a great outcome, which we then moved to work out how much and how big the scale of this thing is. We've got 4,000 kilometres squared of ground, which, to give a perception of scale, it's north to south is 125 kilometres. It's massive, and I mean, it has the potential to hold 1,000 different deposits within that ground. Yeah. So we had to come through with a systematic approach on how to cover this ground and go through the whole process. So our technical team worked through it. What we worked was the best systematic method was soil sampling. So we ran soil samples over 200 metre spacings at 10 kilometre intervals across the land package. To date, we've done probably over 1,000 soil samples. Initially, out of the first pass of about 600 to 700 soil samples, we discovered 6 good high priority targets that showed very large soil anomalies of rutile at surface. One of the targets being the railroad. We're very enthused and encouraged with the results we achieved from drilling out that first target identified by the soil. So we knew we had rutile at surface. It was how deep and broad, and wasn't continuing on a pattern that showed a big block of mineralisation. And fortunately we got a huge tick, and that was endorsed by a 10-hole program that we did across the railroad. Those results were fantastic. As you can see with the numbers here, we've got sort of 13 metres at 1%. Putting that in a comparable position, you can look at a company called Sierra Rutile, whose resource is 714 million tonnes at 1.1%. So that is the equivalent of that, and to get a block of mineralisation the size we have already, very, very exciting position we're in. So that kind of leads us to now work out how big this railroad is. The most exciting part about the railroad is to the left of it on the west side, Railroad West, is we've already hit a huge large soil anomaly as well. So it's got a width of over 3 kilometres. So that's our next priority, is to move on to the Railroad West and test the block of mineralisation there, really to surge ahead and get a resource on this project.
Okay, so at the end, to make a conclusion on the rutile, you know the product is right, the grades are good compared to one of the best projects in the world from Iluka in Sierra Leone. So we now will see a large exploration program and maybe a first resource or what's going on there. So is that your target for the next few months?
It certainly is, and sort of I should have touched on it before, but I'll go back to it. So rutile resources are extremely unique and scarce. Rutile is generally mined as a byproduct. So Sierra Rutile is the one and only world mine that actually solely produces rutile. Rutile normally comes as a byproduct from an ilmenite or a zircon producer. Okay. So Sierra Rutile supplies 20% of the market at the moment, and then a number of others that's used as a byproduct. So the forecasted supply chain of rutile is diminishing. It's in a structural supply deficit at the moment, and a lot of the expansion plans, especially at Sierra Rutile, are highly questionable. And at the moment, the market's using about 700,000 tonnes of rutile, but that is falling away very quickly. At the same time, demand's increasing. So it's a perfect storm for us, and our timing couldn't be better in terms of getting this thing into production and moving it forward. So
okay, just for my understanding, so we have Sierra Rutile that belongs to Iluka. It's a, what is it, $3-4 billion company in
correct,
Australia,
yeah.
Something like that. And there are no other projects around, so you really...
Yeah, so I mean, in terms of solely mining rutile, Sierra Rutile is the only example that is there. We've got base resources, which has got Quale, which is an ilmenite producer, but it also has rutile. So rutile is a titanium dioxide, as I said. So titanium dioxide comes out as either ilmenite or rutile. Rutile is the purest form, and then the inferior is ilmenite. Rutile trades at 6 times the premium of ilmenite, mainly driven by its high titanium dioxide content and a number of other attributes, being environmental, less inputs are needed. So it as itself is what you want, and we're extremely fortunate that we've got this huge potential. And as I said earlier, the market for titanium dioxide is well developed, sophisticated, and huge potential for us in a M&A and all sorts of downstream workflows. We're quite excited.
Okay. Yeah, and the resource is that. Can you tell us something about the plans, schedule?
So
what the company is targeting now?
At the moment, we've really got two strong workflows in working in parallel. So we're going to continue the soil sampling program just with this success and the relationship with the soils and mineralisation. So keeping that, because we've only chipped off probably, I would say, a fifth of our ground in terms of soil sampling. So we're going to keep on going with that, and then also drilling out the Railroad and Railroad West to really try to build a resource. Put it this way, the longer we're drilling Railroad West, that means the bigger the resource. So our target is to hopefully have a resource by early next year, but if it's a matter of having to continue to drill it out because it's so big, then we'll keep on doing that. And we'll certainly try to inform the market as this moves forward, but we're trying to really not put a strict deadline on us, because we really want to test the full extent of it and work out the huge potential we've got. So, as I said, it's really exciting times, and we couldn't be more encouraged with these initial results we've achieved to date. Wednesday's announcement was a really big kicker, a big milestone for us, which proved that we've got a good block of mineralisation, and we're really going to use that as a platform to build the exploration profile and base up from there.
Yeah, so investors can then expect in the next few weeks more drill results from everything?
Yeah. So I mean, we're aware we've been a bit quiet lately, but we're going to start now with this Railroad West. I mean, I know we're on camera, so you can't see it, but there's a number of white dots which are results pending. So they'll start to be flowing through, all fully quantitative from an Australian independent lab, and that they'll be hitting the market in sort of 3 to 4 weeks, or before, certainly before the end of the year. So we're really looking forward to informing the market on that, and hopefully identify some further targets through soil sampling and other things. So exciting times ahead.
All right, sounds good. So we see us next year, and let's see what this Rutil project will bring for us.
Right.
You know?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.